And welcome to another episode of DCU Daily. And today we are here to talk about, Superman. As you can see on the graphic, Superman has been filming in Cleveland today. And, we are getting our first looks at a lot of characters in the movie. It's very interesting to say the least. I mean, I personally have had a bit of an adverse reaction to, like the Derek Corenswet suit because, I mean, and look, this is as a filmmaker myself, like who has kind of seen like what things might look like when you're filming versus what they look like on camera. I mean, the pictures we're seeing today are all behind the scenes photos. They're not like the official photo that we got from James Gunn a little while ago, where you could tell like, that's kind of what they wanted to look like on camera. But what we are getting today is behind the scenes look at Lois Lane. We have also seen Perry White, Wendell Pierce, of course, Rachel Brosnahan. We are seeing Eddie Gattegi as Mr. Terrific in a very comic accurate version of the suit. And of course, you now also know that the Superman crest is going to be on the cape, which is a question that we have talked about and debated the topic on this channel in the past. So to dive into all of that, to react to all of that, and of course, so much more. As always, I've got with me John. How are you doing today?
I was great for a second, and then people in my neighborhood started letting off fireworks. So if you hear fireworks, and I swear they're fireworks, I apologize. But we just got so many set photos, and there's just a lot to talk about. So I would say let's just jump right into some of
Yeah.
the first shots that I
Well,
saw, which was the Superman and Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific shots, so we can like get into those.
yeah, I
I
was gonna
know.
just provide context. Again, like the movie
Yeah.
is filming in Cleveland. If you're not from the US, that's in Ohio, that's state of Ohio. And of course, they're filming in what looks like a semi downtown rural area. I can't really tell exactly where, but a lot of the
Hmm.
pictures that we're going to go through, I mean, they've been circulating on the internet, whether it's on X or anywhere else. They're all primarily sourced from cleveland.com and then also just Jared. So those are the two sites that have been, putting
Yep.
these out, and then everybody else is sort of like, reposting them all over the internet. So we're going to dive in through all of these pictures. And so let's start, as you said, John. Let's talk about this picture because this has been one of the biggest ones from the day. You're getting Superman there. You could see the iconic suit. You see the S on the cape, and then next to him, of course, you're seeing Mr. Terrific. This is our first look as at Eddie Gattegi, who's also been playing a fantastic character on For All Mankind. That I love him from there, but now we get
Hmm.
to see DC, and that suit looks very comic book accurate. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to start there and get your reactions on it. What are your thoughts about this?
I think it looks great. We also see the emblem on the suit, or sorry, on the cape. I know we've talked about that in the past, so we get that that famous emblem and the yellow emblem that is. And I think it looks good. Like I think these shots look very good. The only thing I will say, the only thing I still don't like is the collar. I never liked the collar. I felt it was too militaristic because that's what the New 52 was going for more of like a more militaristic Kryptonian armor. And I never really liked that. It just looked off to me, and the fact he didn't have the underwear also looked weird to me. Um, Very rarely does it look okay. Like um I think it looks fine on Superman and Lois and all that, but we get like really good shot at the red trunks. The color scheme I love. In the original photo that James Gunn posted, due to the fact his like suit was like battle worn, we couldn't really see. The lighting was a little bit off. But here we see well, we kind of see it from the legs at least, but we see here like the full thing of like we get Technicolor Dream, and I'm like, hell yes, give me more of that, please. And then I also really like the Mr. Terrific. I like how simple it is. How it's just like the leather jacket, pants, and sneakers. It's just such a simple outfit. It's like, okay, let's go simple with it. I like how they don't try to over design Mr. Terrific's outfit. They don't try to do anything more than that, and I really liked that. I also like how he actually has a mask. A friend of mine stated, like, yeah, he looks good with a mask rather than, the face paint that fucking Arrow had, and it looked terrible. But yeah, we finally get that. I will say, like, it is funny how it's like the Mr. Terrific looks so simple. It's just, his comic accurate outfit. And then we do have some over design on this, like the padding and all that. I didn't really like that, but it's kind of grown on me. I kind of like with, you know, all that. I liked the emblem size and all that. And then we're in a
Oh, it just
destroyed
looks like
metropolis.
Superman's wearing like a pouch. Like I just there's another angle of that, and I'm just like the trunks. They're just bothering me. I don't know. It just I don't get it. Like it's I'm just this is the part where I rant about it a little bit, but like I don't understand why we need why we, I'm please give me the floor for a couple of seconds, but I really let me find this other shot too because I look at it and I'm like, it's okay, here this is I'm gonna put this on camera here. So there's the shot right there. Now I'll zoom into this, that
Okay, we don't need to see
right
Corenswet
there.
bulge, but
Now, I know that what they're doing okay, so just think okay, look at this here. They're most likely well, they're not filming in this shot. It looks like they're shaking hands with the camera crew or whatever. Or they might be getting like an insert shot or something. I mean, Eddie Gattegi looks awful focused on the handshake, whereas Superman's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And then, the first AC or whatever that whoever that is, the cam up. But the point is, like, look, this right here. I'm just like, I don't know. Do we need that? Like, because it's sort of like, what function does it serve other than to highlight the fact that Superman's got some padding there potentially to make
I
this
mean,
movie a little
I hate to break it to you, but every man on planet Earth has a dick and balls. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to
point?
hide that. Like, obviously, like in camera, they're gonna probably do some like cropping out. They're gonna like smooth it
I
down a little bit so we don't see David Corenswet's schwanz in our fucking faces all the time. But I'm sorry, it's like a woman who has really big breasts, and it's like she's like, I can't put them anywhere. What do you want me to do? So it's like it makes sense.
look,
Like if
okay,
it's like he
I'm
has a
just
big package, like I don't know what to really say
no,
about that.
that's not. But like, okay, this is other Superman suits that have had. So I'm just saying this right now to me, and I know I'm exaggerating this because I'm like, for all we know, we're never gonna notice this in the movie itself. But to me, it just sort of I'm like, look, it's the trunks need to have a purpose because they just look like he got a suit on, then he just put underwear on top. Like, and I'm sorry, it's hard to just get around it. And I just am one of those people who personally, I'm like, I get the comic book accuracy part of it, but I'm like, it was the 1930s, 1940s when this character was, first created. It wasn't meant to be, for movies that were made for $200 million and watched by millions of people all around the world, with billions of people knowing about this character. It's I'm just gonna say that I liked the update that they did when they went with Henry Cavill's suit and they kind of took that away. And even though Henry Cavill has a decent bulge and it's kind of visible in some areas, it's less noticeable because it's not outlined by red trunks that seemingly only exist to outline it. It's just my like hill that I'm gonna die on, and I'm okay
Yeah,
with that. But I don't know.
it's
It
just
just
for
kind of
me personally. This is how I view it, and I think it was Troy Oboyo 17. He's a YouTuber who I watch consistently, and he actually made a really good point of this. He's like, I get why people don't like the trunks. He's like, I get it, but on the other hand, he's like, I view it like this. It's just like it's too much blue. Like he's like, you need some separation there. Like it's just like it looks like he's wearing like a morph suit or a onesie, and it just doesn't look right. Like he's like, you need like a little bit more color, a little bit like to break up the monotony, and sometimes a belt just doesn't do that. I think it works for Superman and Lois like a little bit because he has the red belt. It definitely didn't work for Henry Cavill because he kind of like had this like little tiny like circle, and then it was like I don't know what they were like trying to do some alien shit there, and I don't know
he
like what it
trunks
was.
on. It just
And then
it was
she's like,
a,
it breaks up the monotony a little bit.
I
Like
get
you have the logo, and then you go to the boots, and it's just like, doesn't look right. But like, so I get like that. I like the trunks because it gives us some sort of
I'm like, but
separation there.
dude, can I ask you this? Let me ask you this question. Batman wears trunks in the comics.
Yes.
Tell me the last bat suit that had him wearing trunks on top of his suit in live action.
I
Just
don't think.
serious. There's
Well, the
this
thing
actually, you know
is,
what?
well, the thing with that is, I think, well, it's because well, they originally went with like they usually go with armored suits outside of Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck was like post New 52, where they got rid of all undies. So and like Zack Snyder hates comics, so like so he didn't even follow them
I mean,
anyway.
yeah,
So
bit of an okay.
it's so we didn't have that. But the thing is, the last time we had undies was Adam West. That's the only time we've had the undies. And then, well, and that and the film serials with from Lewis Wilson and Robert Lowery. But yeah, because we had the all black suits in Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. And then we had the armored suit in the Nolan trilogy. And then we had Batman. But I feel like the thing is, it works for super. I mean, I'm not. I won't die on the hill of Batman needs trunks. I still think. I still agree that if you're gonna do a gray suit, then you should have the black trunks. That's just my personal opinion. Because again, you need that like that separation, like a little bit more color, a little bit like less awkward looking. And I feel like but I feel like Batman can get away with it a little bit more, not having the trunks because he's like more serious. Well, with Superman, like, look at this silly guy wearing trunks. It adds to like the charm of it. I think like it adds to the whole like he's like even at the end of the day, even though he's a guy with all this power and he's like shoots lasers from his eyes, he can pick up buildings with no problem, he can fly, it kind of adds to the overall charm of the character. Like he's just like a dorky guy, and a dorky guy would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna wear, trunks on the outside of my suit. I'm gonna
I
wear
mean,
underwear on the outside of my suit because that's cool,
dude,
right?" And I don't
yeah,
know, it just like adds to the whole dorky Smallville
dude,
vibe. That's just my personal
I
opinion as
understand,
well.
but like my thing is, it's not. Okay? So the trunks on Superman's suit are not as central to the character's identity just as much as they're not central to the character identity of Batman. And so if you're willing to accept not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, not just 4, like 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, quite frankly, if you have had a single live action Batman since Michael Keaton who has had trunks on top of his
I don't think
suit.
even Michael Keaton had trunks.
No, he
I think
didn't. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I think the last time was Adam West.
Adam West, exactly. Back to the
And
Suit.
he's the best Batman. Boom. There you go. Perfect reasoning. Bring back trunks for Batman.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. But like, I'm trying to make a serious point here in the
No.
sense,
Here, yeah. Sorry.
uh, if we haven't had that for Batman for that, like, why do people get their knickers in such a twist about the idea of Superman needing the trunks? And I get the visual monotony thing, but I'm like, honestly, there was Superman's suit in Man of Steel that ugly. Like right there in the comment, here's like I'll put this up here. Clearly this guy has a preference because he's like, this downgrade is crazy.
Look
Because
how
I mean, I suits from that suit versus this suit, and I know again, like, okay, I completely get it. Like in a movie, like when you're looking at behind the scenes pictures when they're filming something, like you look at behind the scenes images of most superhero movies, things don't look like. I remember watching the behind the scenes for the bat suit from The Flash, which when he was on the bat bike. I remember the behind the scenes from the Batman when they're driving to the graveyard and you get the stuntman wearing the suit. It looks clunky. In the movie, it looks great. And I get that, like this. And then when you look at the official image that we got for this movie, so far, the only official image that we have gotten, it looked, you know, it looked uh, pretty darn good there for me at least. Now it's also like I mean, look, X Twitter people doing our job for us. Then here's the suit from Man of Steel from the movie, an official image, and then here's a behind the scenes look at it.
I think
And
that's a
I'm
better accurate comparison because that's like a brighter color scheme. I feel like that's more
Yeah,
accurate to compare.
and I get that's a director's choice and blah 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 blah. Like, let's take the. I'm not trying to make this a Zack Snyder versus James Gunn argument. That's not what I'm trying to say at all.
Mm,
What I'm trying to simply say is the suit itself, objectively to me, the Man of Steel suit looked better than. I mean, so far you look at it, it's like I get that they're going for that more of that Boy Scout vibe, and that's fine. I just look at this suit and I'm like, there's a bit too much padding for my taste. And while actually this particular look at the suit looks pretty decent, that other, I mean, you could still, I mean, there's the bulge. I can't get over the bulge. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna like I have to let this go because you'll spend too much time talking about the bulge. If you guys were here to talk to watch us talk about other things, um, I mean, like, why Arc 9 said my problem with the Henry Cavill suit just too blue. Okay, fair enough.
exactly.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
I get that. But all right, let's skip past this point. John,
Let's go past this, but I will say, before
yeah,
we move on to our next point, I want to say the Mister Terrific suit looks great. I think the Superman suit looks great. It just the only thing that bothers me is the collar and the cape. But Mister Terrific, even though it's like it feels like Eddie Gathegi, it looks like Gathegi is wearing a wig. It looks like he's wearing a wig because he has like so much hair and it just doesn't like look right. Like it doesn't match his head. But like outside of that, it look like you got the fair play, you got the red, white, and black. You have the leather, like the famous Alex Ross image. I think that's straight out of the comic. I think it looks great, and I like the face mask. How it's like more like physical rather than just face paint. I'm not saying face paint's like automatically bad, but Gathegi looks great, and I think Corenswet could look a little better. But despite this, I think it looks great. I like the logo size. I like the trunks. I like the color scheme. Like I love, like give me fucking Wizard of Oz, Emerald City, Technicolor dream. That's what I want to see. That's what I've wanted to see for so long. And the thing is, I don't mind like the weird, like how it doesn't like form fit. I will give this argument of like the form fitting thing. Yes, I like how Henry Cavill's is more form fitting, but I have this argument that was Kryptonian like underwear spandex. So that makes sense to have it fit to
that's
your
fair. Because they would have
fit
armor on
to
top,
your
like
skin
or
like perfectly,
yeah, a
you
little weird.
know?
Right,
So like
right.
I get that. And I think it looks good for what Zack Snyder was going for. And I'm not trying to be, versus, Snyder versus Gunn type Dawn of Suits. But I just think what Henry Cavill's was going for was great. What Tyler Hecklin's is going for is great. What David Corenswet is going for is great. Henry Cavill's was Kryptonian technology slash like design slash costuming. So it makes sense that he's more form fitting. Well, this is more homemade. It has like kind of those weird creases. It has the
Dude,
bulges,
honestly,
has like
well,
but that
it
makes
doesn't.
sense because it's like you can't it's not like Stark technology where it's like you can clearly see Spider-Man putting on the suit, it's all loose and baggy, touches his chest, and then it fits to his form perfectly. This is a guy who probably made this in his basement or his mom
Which,
made
by the
it.
way, was a very
And
good
then
creative choice in those movies. Like they did a great job of like, and it's also from a VFX standpoint, you can easily transition from a physical real suit to a CGI suit.
but that's
Besides the
beside the
point. But
point.
I don't know if this suit is meant to be the kind of suit like, okay, let's just quickly go back to the suit that's the official look at Superman, right?
Hmm.
To me, this doesn't feel like a homemade suit. The way it's got, like you said, the over design elements, like those, like the armor, like so almost like you could put plating there or like protection padding. That to me would doesn't that to me takes away the argument. Even the boots look more over designed than the ones from Man of Steel suit, for example. It looks very much like this is a suit that was designed for a purpose, and it's very like more a little more militaristic in the sense that it's not meant to be super form fitting because you're meant to be able to kind of move around in it. Not that you can't do it in a spandex suit, but like it feels a little bit realistic. It definitely takes cues from James Gunn's costume design philosophy for the Guardians movies because those suits kind of felt like that too, where they just felt like they're they're a step above what you might be able to just grab from like on a military base or something. They're not quite superhero suits. They're also not quite something you can grab off the rack at your local, department store. But
Yeah.
but it's somewhere in the middle. Like it's custom designed. It feels a little elevated, but it doesn't like what to me what this does is now that I'm getting more of a look at it in daylight, especially, which again with the color grading, I mean, they might change up how it actually looks, but just how much are they going to change it? Like we looked at the behind the scenes of the Superman suit for Henry Cavill versus the on-screen version. It's not like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern suit where they're going to just CGI the shit out of it, but or like the Flash suit, like in the Flash movie last year. But to me, it just I think the one complaint people have had is this suit doesn't just feel like quite that iconic. Like it doesn't have the simplicity of the Christopher Reeve suit. It doesn't have the smooth, you know, let's just call it sexiness of the Man of Steel suit, and it's sort of somewhere in the middle for a character that's meant to be the flagship. And that to me is a little concerning, but again, that's not gonna make or break the movie. It's the stories, the characters. So I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
step back off my,
Your Snyder cultist pedestal.
exactly.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Thanks
kidding.
for filling that in for me. And I'll just, look, wait till the movie comes out, reserve my judgment until then. But I mean, so far, I'm starting to get a little concerned, but it's also one of those things where, like, if it's an eyesore to me, doesn't mean it's an eyesore to anybody else. Like, and I
Yeah.
fully accept that. There's a lot of people out there who love it. There's some people out there who are expressing concerns, but and then Mr. Terrific too. Of course, we talked about him. My opinion of the Mr. Terrific suit is that it looks to me like I think my initial comments to you were like it looks like it's sort of CWE. It's not quite the CW version. It's an upgrade, but it's also comic accurate, and I'm okay with that. Like this man doesn't look like he's like Batman level like geared up, and he doesn't need to be. That's just not his character. And I'm fine with that. I think his suit works. And again, that's his suit is the kind of suit that I can in my mind say it looks a little campy behind the scenes shots. But when you see it shot cinematically and then, properly colored, and then of course, you see it in action cutting around the different camera angles, it's gonna be fine. I'm not as worried about his suit. I'm more worried about Superman because his suit is meant to be this iconic thing, and what we're getting is the bulge. But again, I think we need to move. I will move us along because I think
Yes.
we've already spent a good 20 minutes on.
But I will say CW comparison might not totally be bad because the CW did give us the best Superman suit we've ever gotten. So there is that. However, that's like 1 out of 20 because like the only other suit I can think of that was really that good was probably the season 9 Flash suit, but that's beside the point. Anyway, let's move on to other stuff because we need to fit this in before we call it
Yeah.
quits and people get annoyed with us bantering about dumb shit.
So, okay, so here is Rachel Brosnahan, incredibly beautiful, amazing pick for Lois Lane, and we see her now on set to play the role, and I know they've probably been filming a lot of things on sound stages over the last couple of months, but here we are out in the open, Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan playing the character, and you can see that she looks the part for sure. And then there's other pictures here that we can dive into as well.
Hmm.
Um, Here she is coming out of what looks, I mean, her hair seems to be a little wet, I think. I don't know what this looks like. It's either a spaceship or it's a part of a bigger craft where they're just gonna do a CGI set extension. And
Yeah,
she's out of this thing and it looks
I
like
have a
there's all
theory
blue.
about it.
They're gonna
I
probably background when they
yeah,
whatever they're to it.
yeah.
Um,
I have a theory that it might be one of Mr. Terrific's ships because it does have
yeah,
the white and black color scheme, and that's usually his gadgets are white and black.
yeah.
So it might be one of his ships. Again, proving your point, this might just be a small part of it, and they'll build like around it. You know, Superman movies are famous for inserting plane crashes. There's a lot of plane crashes in Superman movies and shows. So it's like, all right, sure. So they might include that. But I feel like the vibe I'm getting is like usually like airplanes usually have like a red, white, and blue color scheme. This is white and
Mhm.
black. So I think this is not a spaceship. I think it's like a Mr. Terrific aircraft that like Superman's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, hey, you need to get them to safety," or "Oh, hey, we need
right.
to get the story." So, "Hey, Michael, can you like get them away or get them to come here?" And then blah blah blah. He's like, "Okay, I got you, Soups." And then he, gets an aircraft and then has them jump over or get away from the action. So that could be something that could be a cool little scene. But yeah,
Yeah.
I also love
I
Perry
mean,
White chomping on a cigar. Way to go,
dude,
guys. We need to bring more cigars. Fuck cigarettes, fuck joints. Give us more cigars in film because, it just cigars look so much more cool. It looks so much cooler than a fucking cigarette, not gonna lie. Just saying, but that's just
I mean,
me.
it's a good picture. Like, if this is our first look at the character of Perry White, Wendell Pierce, of course, he's got that gray little streak going through his hair as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Got that salt and
I love
pepper
this. I
goatee.
love him. I've enjoyed watching him on Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime for the last several years. He's of course known for a lot more than just that, and now he's stepping into the iconic role that was previously, Morpheus was playing Perry right before him. So he's got some big boots to fill there. Lawrence Fishburne, of course, in the Man of Steel universe. So yeah, here we are. Got our first look at these two characters. Like, I wonder, from a storytelling standpoint. Of course, also the big thing on the internet is, before I get into the story part, Lois Lane is wearing her iconic purple top that people keep
Yes.
posting photos from, like, the
Hell
animated
yeah.
series comics, which is fantastic. Like, you're getting something. I appreciate James Gunn's nods to comic book accurateness. There's also an image going around that apparently there's a Morrison Avenue somewhere, which I'm like, James Gunn, like, are you might as well get on your knees and suck, his dick, because at this point, like, the amount
Yeah,
of
Tom King and Grant Morrison, James Gunn
um
really want the three-way with them because
I
goddamn.
It's clearly an exaggeration, and I don't mean it personally at all. I'm like, it just seems to be everywhere, to the point where I'm like, I respect the writers because they create the original stories. But I guess since I'm on my soapbox today, I might as well put that out there in the world too. But anyway, getting back to the whole Lois Lane, and Perry White look. Where do you want to start? What are your thoughts about Lois Lane so far? Seeing her now.
I think Rachel Brosnahan looks great. I mean, she just looks normal. It's not like she's wearing like anything special. I mean, yeah, you get the purple. That feels like that's been with the character since the animated series because I feel like the comics do that. I feel like some other shows do that as well. I feel like I don't know. She just has like purple is just iconic, I guess, now for Lois Lane. You can kind of see Skylar Gisondo like right near. I hate to say it, right near Rachel Brosnahan's crotch. Like you could see a face there, and I
Yeah.
think that's supposed to be
Okay.
Skylar Gisondo.
Okay, he's kinda got a
Um,
camera. Yeah, I see
as
it. I
Jimmy Olsen. And then I
Yeah.
also saw Christopher McDonald as Ron Troop. He's in one of these images as well. Like he's kind of looking up at something. Looks
I
great.
think
Like
that this picture right here. He's right there in the
there
corner.
he is. There he is. But
There he is.
yeah. So he's definitely looks younger here because usually Ron Troop is like kind of like the Robbie Robertson of the Daily Planet, where he's just kind of older, sage, black guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but that's like kind of what he is.
It
But he looks
it's
younger here, but that's
okay.
fine. Like that's cool. Like so he can like grow into the role, I guess. But yeah, Perry White looks great. Lois Lane looks great. Ron Troop. You can't really see Jimmy Olsen that well, but they all look fantastic. The only thing I'm hoping for, we got what I wanted with the Superman suit. We got Technicolor and we got Trunks. I want to see a fucking bow tie on Jimmy Olsen because without a bow tie, is he even Jimmy Olsen? Like I want to see a bow tie, maybe a cardigan, but I want to see that bow tie. God damn it! I want to see my Jimmy Olsen bow tie. So that's all I'm hoping for. I don't care if it takes place. Oh, it takes place in modern day. Why would he wear a bow tie? I don't give a flying fuck. I want to see Jimmy Olsen in a bow tie. So that's all I'm gonna. We got Lois Lane in purple. We got Perry White with a cigar. Like, give us Jimmy Olsen in a bow tie, please. That's all I care about. But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah. Well, also, the big image that's in the thumbnail that I wanted to also get through here is the image of Lois Lane and Superman together. That's the big one here. Just Jared posted this image. I think I have like a bigger version of this. Here we go. So we now, of course, we have to also talk about the story implications. We'll get to that. But just this is the first time now in the context of the movie. Of course, we've seen them in cast photos and behind the scenes stuff on social media. And the big cast photo that we got with everybody that Nathan Fillion took with James Gunn and the cast months ago, it seems like now. But this is the first time in the context of the movie. I don't know if they're
Let me see
actively
it.
filming in this shot or if this is just behind the scenes, like in between takes. But here is Lois Lane and you know Clark Kent,
Yeah, it
Superman
looks great. Like
together.
it just looks great. Like, and you know what? You and Rachel Brosnahan have a similarity. You have an affinity for David Corenswet's crotch because she's looking right at it. She is going straight for that crotch. It's like, oh, this is gonna be fun later.
The bulge,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I'm just like the eye line is like right there. Like you could
It,
definitely see. But it looks great. Like the two of them, and then you have the military. I don't know if you can can enhance. It's not CSI, but you can't see what the branch of
I was
government is. I don't know what
I
that's
was gonna
supposed to be.
say it got like this sword
It's like a
thing.
sword.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
if
know what
anybody
that could be.
like in the comments, if you guys have any idea what this might be hinting at, like it just to me it just looks like standard army
It might
or
be like a rocket. It might be like Space Force. That could be it. Like they might be integrating the Space Force like into a more realistic
the
sort of
US
thing.
Space Force logo. There, I don't know if their logo looks like that. Their logo looks
Probably
a
it
little
doesn't, but a sword wouldn't
hard.
because I don't think there's a sword. I think sword is in Marvel, like SWORD, where it's like an abbreviation for something. I think that's a Marvel thing though. So I don't know if there's like sword something, but it could also be a
Yeah,
spaceship.
yeah, that's definitely a Marvel thing. And the US, you know, US Army, of course, you got the eagle with like the
Yeah.
stripes. It's not so. I mean, I don't know. It just there are different groups, like you know, there's different logos depending on what part of the army you're in. So maybe it's a particular. Although, to be honest, if it is anything like that, then it's probably custom to the movie. They're probably not pulling
Yeah,
for
they
some.
might be using like checkmate. They might be using because I mean, we already know like Argus is going to be a thing because Amanda Waller is going to be a thing. But in the comics, I forget which one came first. I know, like, I think it was like Argus disbanded, and then I think Amanda Waller restructured it, and then it became Checkmate, or it was reverse, or it was Checkmate first, and then it became Argus. I think it was Argus first. So it might be like insinuating like Checkmate, and then I mean Maxwell Lord is in the movie, and he becomes the Black King of Checkmate. So he might be,
Well,
that might be
check
something with him.
look, right? Checkmate has got a rook logo. Argus has
Yeah.
sort of like this pointed sideways thing logo. So whereas this looks like a
Yeah.
sword
It
kind.
looks like a sword. So I don't know, but obviously I'm just kind of throwing everything out there. Like obviously the logo
Yeah.
can change for the movie. They might be integrating like some other things where it's like, oh, we're taking this and we're combining it and hence new logo. So they might be doing that. I don't know, um but yeah, like I like the military. I like because we saw a Jeep or a Jeep tank in the background of the Mr. Terrific and Superman shots. So obviously military is going to come in. We might see Sam Lane. That might be another thing. I don't know if he's been confirmed yet. They probably have him. They just haven't confirmed. Like 3 weeks from now he'll be confirmed.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Confirmed.
that's
Because I don't get that. Like, oh yeah, were you still signing the contract? The ink wasn't even dry and you had him on set filming, or like you guys just want to just keep the new just stay in the news cycle somehow. I don't know what it is. But I mean look, ultimately when I look at these pictures, I get the sense that this movie is pretty far along filming wise, right? Like
I mean,
most
yeah, it
movies,
started it's March,
especially at this scale, like they
almost
film for
4
like
months.
yeah, 3 to 4 months. So, like, I think this might and here's the thing, a shoot like this where you're out in a big city, like in Cleveland, and you've got there's behind the scenes photos, like, okay, so guys, just again, at the start of the show, we mentioned this. A lot of these pictures, if you're looking for them, they're being posted all over social media. So you can find them on X or Facebook
Yeah,
or Instagram or Threads, wherever you
everywhere,
want it. But
everywhere.
yeah, but like if you want to go to the source where you can really find the repository, like where all of these are being collected, because the on-set reporting is being done by Cleveland.com and then Just Jared. Those are the two big sources that I've come across. They've got
Hmm.
literally dozens of photos, and you'll see them in like the higher resolution. You'll get a really good look at everything, and they've got photos where, I mean, I can try to find some. I think I had pulled up a couple of these where there's like, you know a huge setup here where they're just walking around. They have a huge chunk of the area wherever they are in Cleveland kind of blocked off, and you've got, the art department, you've got the camera department, you've
Hmm.
got, like, of course, James Gunn, you've got the actors, you've got hair and makeup, you've got so much, background extras, all crafty. It's a huge lift, and so for them to kinda
Hmm.
take this on, I know they've already filmed on location for this movie, and they've also, of course, done a lot of stuff on sound stages, but for
Yeah.
them to be doing this part of the movie now at this stage of the process, it tells me, like, from a production standpoint, that this must be, like, one of the biggest, heaviest lifts of this entire, movie, and when it comes to just filming, and saving that for a latter half of your shoot is typical because it's not only expensive, but it's logistically very challenging. Plus, I think doing it now in the summer months probably guarantees better weather in Cleveland, because Cleveland can get pretty cold, and now that we're in the middle of June, it's a good time of year to do this.
Oh
We're
yeah.
also about now, I think, like 13 months away from this movie coming out, which,
Yeah,
because
because it's July. Yeah,
it's
pretty much
coming out next
almost a year away. Almost a year away because we only have about
So,
less
I mean,
than a
you look
week
at this,
left.
yeah,
So.
like you said, from the story standpoint, you're getting a lot of, callback. I see some callbacks to like how the third act of the movie was handled in Man of Steel, like where you get a lot of military, you have a lot of big, large scale destruction happening.
Hmm.
Except in this case, Superman seems to be not the, he's not fighting these battles by himself. Now, of course, this could be earlier in the movie. Like, for all we know, happens in like the first 20 minutes, but it could be in the latter, like, half of the film as well.
That could be an
What are your
interesting
thoughts about
way to
these?
do it. I mean,
Like,
obviously,
or
mm, who knows? Because James Gunn is pretty tight knit when it comes to like a lot of people think like, oh, James Gunn, he reveals so much about his movies. It's like when you really think about it, he doesn't. He just squashes dumbass rumors, like majorly, like, oh yeah, fucking Superman is gonna fucking turn green in the movie because of kryptonite poisoning, and James Gunn's like, are you fucking stupid? And then so like it's dumb. He like squashes dumb stuff like that. But when it comes to like really extremely like specific plot details, we don't know. So like I think it'd be kind of cool like if we start the movie. I don't think they would, but like because I feel like that's more of a sequel thing to do where you like start a movie like boom, middle of the action. It's like okay, we're getting back in the world. Okay, Superman is fighting this like he's fighting Metallo in the first like 20 minutes. And then Lois Lane and Perry White are trying to get the story, and you were with Jimmy Olsen and Ron Troop, and they're trying to get the story, and oh my god, blah, blah, blah. So that could be like a cool way to like introduce like all these characters, and then they could do like the funny thing where it's like they stop, it just stops, it pauses, and it's like, hey, my name is Superman. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Well, let me take you back. And then
we're gonna Anchorman this? Is that what's gonna happen?
and then and then it's like what is it teenage wait or Baba O'Reilly starts playing
Oh
and,
yeah,
and
who
then
are you?
and then
The Oh god, I know what you're talking about.
oh
Something
yeah,
teen yes,
yeah.
yeah.
um so I that would be hilarious. But I think but I don't I think it insinuates either midpoint or third act. Usually cuz sometimes there's a big midpoint battle and then like Superman goes down, like he loses his powers, maybe he's weakened, and then it's like he has to lick his wounds and then come back stronger than ever kind of thing. And then, a third and then like third act. But I think that could insinuate anything, and I'm glad James Gunn isn't saying anything. Um, but I think yeah, it could insinuate a lot of different things. and I'm down for it. Like whatever James Gunn has in mind. Like I'm after seeing this suit, after seeing all this stuff, I'm stoked. Like let's go. Let's July 2025. Let's fucking get here already, my guys. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, I also one other gripe on the suit. Oh, by the way, look, there's Lex Luthor for you.
Yeah,
Nicholas Holt.
that's his outfit throughout the movie. He's not wearing a suit. He's not wearing anything. He's just wearing like a
Yeah.
Supreme tee and a Nike hat. That's just boom. That's it. Very interesting choice, but
Very, yeah, he blends in. I mean, James Gunn, of course, he's
you
like, I'm not even
blend.
going.
You blend.
He blends in. He blends in. Oh, a poor hot dog stand, or I guess this is more of a pretzel
It's a
stand.
pretzel stand. Oh, as a fat man, seeing those pretzels on the ground just hurts. I know they're not real edible pretzels, but it still hurts. Damn, now I want a soft pretzel. Fuck. God damn it.
Who's the character here? Is I don't even know
I
what's
think
going on
that
in
I
this.
think that might be it's either random extra or it's Cat Grant. One of the two. Because that
Okay,
seems like a Cat Grant look.
yeah, it's
Or
yeah.
it's
I mean, you
someone
can
who
tell.
hasn't been confirmed yet. So
Yeah, clearly, because we don't really recognize. I mean, it could be like you said, an extra. It's and also these kind of big shoots, like from a production standpoint, on the director really focuses primarily with like the main actors, right?
no,
Like
we've
there's a
seen
lot of
Metropolis.
background, and we say background like we're talking about like extras. We're talking like that's
Yeah.
you have a lot of like ads who are just like directing traffic, and so the director sort of like like Christopher Nolan did a great job in terms of just showing the scale of Gotham with his Dark Knight trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and you see some of the behind the scenes like of those movies, and like the director yells action, and then all of a sudden like five other ads will yell action because 100 people, if not more, have to be doing
Yeah.
something right then and there, and on cue, and there's like probably like pyrotechnics, there's vehicles moving around, the stunt team is doing.
Explosions. Yeah. I mean, we all watched The Fall Guy. Now we're experts on filmmaking right now. So,
It's like, I mean, and there's of course there's stuff like there are probably shots where they're doing a lot of CG replacements in post. So, and nowadays you don't even need to put markers down. You can literally just track everything in post. Like the tools are powerful enough that you wouldn't be able to necessarily see that something
Mhm.
is going to be replaced with a CG background extension until you actually see the movie. And it's done so seamlessly you might not even notice it when it is done in the movie. Whatever it is that's going on here, it seems like some situation goes down, something happens. Superman and Mr. Terrific arrive on the scene to investigate. It seems to be a continuation of something because obviously they've brought Lois Lane and Perry White along with them, as well as of course Skylar Gizondo's character, Jimmy
Mhm.
Olsen, and it's like the whole staff of the Daily Planet just like stopped by. Although it looks like they're still in Metropolis, so the military's here. Which, by the way, in these situations, I'm like you would probably get the Coast Guard along with the police, not the Coast Guard, but like just the National Guard along with the police. The army would step in because that's like the military's on domestic streets is not really a thing in the U.S. It's not really that's what you have the National Guard for. But getting these military interventions, of course, with the Man of Steel, you got like the A-22 Warthog and
Mhm.
F-22 Raptors and all that. I don't know if you're going to get to that level here,
Turns
but
into
at
a
least
Michael Bay movie.
yeah, Michael Bay, Zack Snyder, like the that era of movie making, which I quite frankly have. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I do miss that a little bit because blockbuster movies these days don't quite feel as big. Because hate them for their storytelling capabilities, but they do know how to make a movie feel big. And it's kind of like watching Bad Boys Ride or Die this year. I was like, that movie was made for not that much money relative to some of these superhero movies, and it felt like a big movie. And you give
Yeah.
credit to the director
I mean,
being able to
that's
that on.
what when there's enough passion there, when there's enough like care and like about what you're making, it doesn't matter the amount of money because
Yeah.
there he is. There's the master himself. Because it's like people joked like there was like the whole meme of Godzilla minus one. Oh, that only cost $15 million, and then the director had to come out. He's like, "No, we had fucking 10 million. I wish we had 15 million." And then
15 million.
everyone made like constant memes of like, I think Yamakashi is his name, Tamazaki Yamakashi. I think that was his name. If I'm butchering that, I apologize to any
Yeah.
Japanese viewers out there. But he's like, He built this in a fucking cave with a pile of
Oh,
scraps. It's
you're
like
talking about
he
yeah,
made
yeah.
an Academy Award winning film for nothing. For nothing. And it looks better than the vast majority of Marvel and DC movies out there. Like, -1 was released at around the same time as Lost Kingdom, Aquaman Lost Kingdom, and Aquaman Lost Kingdom cost like fucking $250 million, and Godzilla -1 just fucking tears it to shreds, and it doesn't even try, and it won the award for it as well. So it's like, it just goes to show, like, if you restraint makes people better, and you know what? Sometimes you can make these, like, Godzilla fucking looked amazing in Godzilla -1. He looked so good, my man, just rocking it for only 10 million. And then the Marvels looks like fucking dog shit, and that costs like 400 million. Like, it's just like, it's no comparison. It's no comparison. It really isn't.
It,
But that's like a whole nother discussion for another day, and I don't want to get too harped on that. But
yeah.
but yeah, I speaking of height difference, what that person said, um, yeah, I love the height difference between Lois Lane and Superman. I forgot to mention that. He a
I mean,
full head above. I know it's not My Adventures of Superman, but like, that's animated. But people, how he's like fucking 6'6", and then Lois Lane is like 5'2". But I do love that height difference. I don't know. It's just like, I love, like, just the towering, like, body of Clark Kent, and he's just like,
yeah,
this huge, like, hello, I am farm boy from Smallville. Hello. And it's like, it's just, it works. Like, I love that. I love that. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna stop
So,
filibustering now.
ultimately, that's not like central to like if that wasn't the case, that it would be a terrible pairing. It's gonna ultimately matter what their screen chemistry looks like.
Right.
And both of these actors, certainly Rachel Brosnahan, because we've seen more of her work, we know they're full of charisma. She is one of the most sought after actresses in Hollywood today, and of course,
Yeah.
being in this role, in this iconic role, there's a lot of expectation. You've got a lot of
James Gunn promised chemistry. He's like, it was magical. Like, he's when they were together in screen tests. So,
that's what he said, and yeah, it was a
I mean,
very
he's not going to
competitive.
say, "Oh yeah, they're dog shit." Obviously, he's the director. He's trying to
Right,
sell his fucking movie.
yeah,
But like, I don't know.
exactly,
That's kind of nice to see. So,
yeah.
you know.
Well, look, guys, we went through a lot of the pictures. There's more coming in now. Once again, I mentioned this, give credit where credit is due. A lot of these pictures that we have come across are coming from Cleveland.com because the movie is currently filming in Cleveland. That's where these pictures are coming in
Mhm.
from.
I think John
And
Kuntz was the specific photographer for the Cleveland website
what was the
photos.
name?
I think John Kuntz
Jan
was the
Kuntz. Yeah.
photographer. I just saw his name. I'm sure if you like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rewind, you'll see him. I just
Yeah,
like to give specific, name drops to the people who
absolutely.
did all this. So thank you
Yeah.
for all of them. Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you can find these pictures on cleveland.com. You can also then, check out more of the images on Just Jared. Like those are both of the websites that we have found these at. If you're looking, if
Mhm.
you of course you can watch through the show if you came in late, then you rewind back, go through with the rest of it. If you've stopped by, please hit the like button. That really, really helps us out a lot, of course, on the channel. And if you're new here and you like the kind of content that we're creating, then please, do also hit the subscribe because then you can keep getting more of these videos. We are doing DCU Daily Monday through Friday. And of course, we also have the Also Curious show that we do once a week. This week, we're going to be talking about, I believe, The Bike Riders is out. Of course, we
Yes.
have DCU Daily on there, so we will definitely go through some DC related topics as
Mhm.
well. And then I'm sure as they continue filming in Cleveland, which has become for the sake of this movie, the Metropolis, we're probably gonna get more of a look at what these characters are like, what the story is of this movie. We're probably gonna get to see more of that behind the scenes insight. There's a lot more to come, and I'm excited that we've finally gotten to this point where we have all these behind the scenes looks coming because we've been looking for these. We have been wanting these for quite some time to come at this point, and we're finally getting it. And we are now just about a year away, a little over a year away from the movie itself coming out. So come back here to keep checking in. DCU Daily, that's what we're here for. it's a new universe. It's the dawn of a new era of storytelling for the world of DC. And at DCU Daily, we'll be here, each and every day, giving you the updates as they come in. So, of course, as it says on the graphic, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live and when we have new videos going up. And of course, we'll be back here tomorrow with more news and updates. If there's more breaking news, then we will be covering that. Otherwise, we are always, happy to debate things like, we found out that, hey, we do have a Superman logo on the on the cape. The crest is going to be on the cape like it was in the Christopher Reeve suit, which is something that we had talked about on DCU Daily a few months ago, and now we know the answer to that because of the pictures that we have gotten. So we always have debates like this, and if you'd like to chime in, then you can drop into the live chat. You can, and if you're not watching it live, you can drop the comments down below. Hunter Iggy popped in a little bit late today, and he had some questions for us. I think he's like, people are complaining about the suit because of the trunks. They look like a diaper. Which, hey, Hunter, dude. I was on my soapbox for the longest time. I don't know if you missed. I think you did miss it, but you can rewind back and watch it because there's this picture, and let me put this back up again for a second. Yes, they look like diapers because, quite frankly, you compare that to, like the Wolverine suit where he's wearing this yellow suit, but the material sort of hides away some of that stuff, like the bulge, as we like to call it. But we've already had that conversation. I already got on and off my soapbox, so definitely, Hunter, if you
Move
want,
on
you
a
can
bit.
go through it. Rewind back, check it out, and you'll enjoy the conversation, that's for sure. And of course, for guys, well, let me not leave us with that picture as the last image to show up. I think this is the picture right here. Speaking of, the, the
Yeah.
the iconic duo, the power couple of the DC universe. That's your Lois Lane and Superman. And with that said, John, of course, thank you again for joining me for this episode of DCU Daily. As always, we will be back here tomorrow with another episode. Thanks so much, guys. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, come back here for more. If you showed up late, rewind back and watch back our analysis. We went through all the photos. Just Jared and Cleveland.com is where you can find them. And until next time, guys, go out there, watch something DC related, go out, check out these pictures, and then come back and talk to us about it. Let us know your opinions, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily.